Hi everybody, welcome back to Home Smart Buyers. Inspector Tom here. Today we're looking at stairs. And stairs are pretty straightforward. I mean, the building codes, the construction is really all designed around one thing. How do we reduce the number of people that fall down and hurt themselves? And so when thinking about it, it's nice from a framework to think of, well, who tends to fall down the stairs the most? Well, it's the really, really young and the older. And so the codes and the building standards are really built around that. Does it seem nitpicky in some of the details we're going to get into? It does, but you want people to be able to take one step after another step and have it be very predictable, very stable, and that's what the standards are for. So you're busy, I'm busy, let's get rolling. So let's get a couple of terms out of the way. Riser, tread, step. This part that hangs over the riser, nosing. That's a nosing. So how wide should the stairs be? Well, first, unobstructed, right? No handrails, 36 inches. If you've got one handrail, and if you've got 4 stairs or more, you have to have a handrail. But if you've got one handrail, the width of the walkway can be 31.5 inches, okay? If you put 2 handrails out, one here and one here, you can have 27 inches of open walkway. Got less than that? It's wrong. So, how long should a flight of stairs be? Well, they should never be longer than 12 feet 7 inches, and there's a couple exceptions. Reason being is you don't want people, if they start falling near the top, all the way down forever and ever. So, 12 feet 7 inches before there's a landing, before you get to another floor. Pretty straightforward. The definition of a flight of stairs becomes important here in just a minute, because all the measurements, all the standards that we're going to be looking at are for within a flight of stairs. And by the way, if you've got a spiral staircase or one that does some weird, unique things, that's not what this is. This is just plain old staircases. When it comes to figuring out the height of your stairways, minimum is 6 feet 8 inches, and it's measured off a sloped line. So if you were to draw an imaginary line from this nosing to this nosing, measure it 6 feet 8 inches up, you're good. Less than 6 feet 8 inches, no bueno. Okay, time for some details. Risers, the vertical part. Want to make sure that they are not greater individually than 7 3/4 inches, and within that flight of stairs, they should not be different from the shortest to the tallest by more than 3/8 of an inch. So they've got to be like really close to each other. So nosings are the part that sticks out beyond the tread. First thing, they're required. Second, they should not extend less than 3/4 of an inch or more than 1 1/4 inches. When you compare the size of each nosing to each other, they should never be different by more than 3/8 of an inch. Stair treads should be no less than 10 inches, and each one compared to each other should be within 3/8 of an inch. So the narrowest one to the largest one, there shouldn't be more than 3/8 of an inch different anywhere within that flight. So the variances between any, whether you're talking the riser, the tread, the nosing, you can't have more than 3/8 of an inch difference. So less than a half an inch difference between the smallest one and the biggest one. And that is just to get those standards in place so that it's very consistent. You get used to walking those stairs and they're the same height. They're the same width. They're the same, right? Same nosing length. So super important that those are very, very, very similar to each other. So landings are required at every flight of stairs. And whether that's a couple of stairs that changes direction, or whether that landing is at the top floor and the bottom floor, there's got to be a landing at the top and the bottom of the stairs. Next, that landing has to be the same size as the stairs they serve. So if you got a really wide staircase and you got a 48-inch wide stairway, guess what? You got to have a 48-inch wide landing. So the IRC is super picky about handrails. So let's run through some of those things. Lowest is 34 inches. Highest is 38 inches. They can't project out into the walkway more than 4.5 inches. There has to be a minimum gap between the wall and the handrail of 1.5 inches. So if you're getting ready to fall and you need to grab it in a hurry, well, you want to be able to have plenty of room for your fingers to fit in there. So you got to have it 1.5 inches away from the wall. They've got to be continuous. Now, they can turn at a newel post and they can do some of those other things. But if you've got a flight of stairs, from the nosing of that bottom stair to the very nosing at the very top, there's got to be a continuous set of handrails. So anytime you've got an open-sided walking surface, think about being on the second floor and you're staring down at the foyer on the main floor. Anytime that walkway surface is greater than 30 inches above the floor or the grade below, you got to have a guard. Couple of things. Same standard. You don't want anything bigger than 4 inches fitting between the balusters. And also, you want the height to be not less than 36 inches. So if there's an enclosed space underneath the stairwell that you have to access by opening a door, know that that entire enclosure area has to be finished off with drywall. So a stringer is the name of the board that's been cut in such a way as it holds the treads and it holds the risers for the set of stairs. And what will happen, and this is not in the IRC, but what will happen is the workers will just take a circular saw and cut those notches way too deep to the point where you feel like they're affecting the structural integrity of that stair stringer and those stairs. Just pet peeve. Hate it.